Welcome to another edition of Kosher Caffeine. I already made the blessing before, L'chaim. Turbocharging your soul right now and right here. Let's talk a little bit about The Secret, the movie. Is there any truth to The Secret? Well, everything in this world has an element of truth, a little more truth, a little less truth, even when the Zohar tells us that this world is mostly untruth, there's still a little bit of truth there. Now in The Secret, it tells us that anything the man can conceive and visualize, it can manifest. Well, the last time I tried thinking I had 2 heads, 3 hands, and 4 feet, it didn't work. How about visualizing in the middle of a hurricane that the clouds clear up and there's all of a sudden sunny, pleasant weather? It won't work. We are not God. We are human beings. One of 6 billion human beings on the face of this earth today. And in the same way that human beings as a whole have certain limitations, parameters in which they operate, unlike God, each individual also has certain parameters and limitations. Certain set of parents, certain country in which they were born, a certain amount of people that they know and can ever get to know, certain health limitations. And therefore, it isn't exactly so that anything without limitations that a person can visualize, he is sure to manifest and see those results. But there is a little bit of truth. What is the truth to the great power of the mind and the great power of the individual? It all lies in that spark of godliness that is within each person. Now we're talking a whole different other story. We're talking about God. We're talking about doing it with God and connected with the infinite source of power. Now, in the Zohar, the book of mysticism, it tells us that the way a person behaves in this world, that is how God deals with him from the world above. So if a person shows a happy attitude in life, he is open and relaxed, God will also show to him a happy, open, and relaxed atmosphere. In the book of Job it says, I was afraid, and therefore the fear came upon me. In the Talmud it says that if a person goes out on a trip and he expects to fail on his trip and not come back, that may be the case because of his expectations. So there's obviously something to say about the way we think bringing about results. The student who goes to the teacher with a problem that his daughter is terminally ill, and the teacher, the Rebbe, says to him, think good and it will be good. Optimistic, positive thinking. How does that work? Well, Rabbi Menachem Mendel Schneerson, the Lubavitcher Rebbe, explains, that is the tremendous power of bitachon. Confidence in God like a partner in a job that he will not let us down in our own special mission here in this world. It's not about thinking that I can fly. It's not about trying to get things that I'm not entitled to. It's not about getting in the way of other people, maybe even subconsciously or unconsciously. It's all about trying to accomplish what I was put here in this world to accomplish. And that sometimes there may be difficulties in that path. Potholes of health, financial situations, other circumstances. But I have a mission to accomplish, commandments that I need to fulfill. And there are things that stand in my way and don't allow me to move on. That's when the Torah and mysticism tells us that even if, according to nature, it is impossible to see any kind of results. The doctor said there's no hope. The financial expert said you'll never get that money. But you don't have to listen to all that because you have a partner in life, and that is God. As King David says in his book of Psalms, Hashem Roi, God is my shepherd, therefore lo echsar, I lack nothing. And when a person goes with an attitude in life that he depends entirely, he does whatever effort he can, but then he knows he is finite and limited. And so for the rest of it, he leaves it up to his partner on the job, and that is God. Even when it is naturally impossible to see the results. But he has this partner that nothing stands in the way of his partner, God, who is infinite. can do anything. And the books tell us that when a person, he depends to that degree of strength, which takes quite a bit of working on oneself, and he depends on God, like King David says, he throws upon God all his worries and all his burdens, then God not only provides what he depended on God to kick in, but God even creates the opportunity for the person to accomplish what he's depending on his partner, God, to bring about. That is the unbelievable strength of confidence and faith in God. That is the unbelievable results that it brings about. As the books tell us that even if the person wouldn't otherwise deserve to see those results, he isn't a perfect individual. But when it becomes a unique, specific mission, and on that mission, the difficulties are so overwhelming, he doesn't see a chance and a hope in that particular mission to see success and results. And he depends on God, and he says, you can't let me down, and therefore I expect and I know I'm going to get what I'm working on reaching. Then the books tell us that God will never let the person down. And Rabbi Menachem Mendel Schneerson goes on further to say that God actually will change the physical reality to suit the confidence that the person had in God not to let him down. And that's brought from a story from Moses, that if Moses would not have feared King Pharaoh finding out about him killing an Egyptian and saving the Jewish person that the Egyptian was fighting with, if Moses would have had a stronger confidence in God, so then that confidence would have stopped any rumor from spreading in Egypt, and Pharaoh would have never discovered what Moses did. And that's the truth of the secret.